Welcome to the I'm Such a Pisces podcast. We're two friends taking an explorative journey into all things astrology and a little woo. I'm Christine. I'm a creative, intuitive counselor and coach, and astrology enthusiast. We Pisces like to wear all the hats. You can find me on IG at The Dreamy Piscean.
And I'm Shelby. I am a licensed social worker, a big feelings person, and a light skeptic. Here to learn all the astrological things. You can find me on Twitter at Shelby Tweeting, and being a Cancer rising on Instagram at Shelby Cooking Things. Welcome to our show.
Welcome back, people. It's the I'm Such a Pisces podcast. My name's Christine.
And I'm Shelby.
Welcome back to our little show, y'all. Another week, and
I feel like I have to do this at the beginning of the podcast every time we record. If I'm feeling this way, if I say it, it'll be way better. I am high.
This is why we get our daytime recording. Yes. We've had several this season. I love it for us.
I love it.
Yes.
It's like I can start the day. I can kind of vibe out a little bit. We had just like a nice long little catch up right before this. But yeah, I just feel like I have to say it out loud, and then I won't be weird. Like, you know what? If I just
you
let
won't
them
think
know,
anything strange, like, oh yeah, they're just high. It's fine.
It's
fine.
Whatever. Yeah, it's best recording that way. It's been a while since I've smoked a little J during a recording session, so that's where I'm at today, and I'm feeling good.
It's a nice little vibe.
Yeah.
Just a daytime, you have it with your coffee, and it's
just
get a little nice little buzz going.
The wombo combo, the J, the caffeine high, it's really
it's a good
lovely.
Time. We love it. And we've been I think maybe you have not been snowed in completely this week. You have been okay.
Yeah.
I was like, I know you had to be out a little bit. So I don't know if things are as dire
you know what
as they
I'll
are
just say,
here.
Having lived in both the Midwest and Nashville, just the weather is honestly not that different, but for whatever reason, every time it snows, the entire city of Nashville shuts down because they act like nobody knows how to drive in the snow. Like, nobody knows. I swear there's only one salt truck for the entire Davidson County metro area. They just get it together quicker here. That's all.
Yeah, and I think I've read a lot of tweets and things this week about Nashville and about other cities and how different people handle this kind of weather, and why Nashville is still in the position of the city shutting down for a week because we got some. Now this was a significant snow for Nashville. Yeah. I will say, we usually get a little 2-3 inch situation. Mm-hmm. We definitely, there are some areas that got 9 inches. And, so that was significant. We definitely over here.
Doesn't everybody want that?
Whew. Okay.
Take a drink. And it was me this time, not even Christine. Sorry.
Whew. But, it touched me in a way.
I bet it did.
Sure did. But yeah, there's definitely a good I saw on a couple of occasions that I went out because I ordered DoorDash. I did I waited a few days. I didn't, do it immediately, but I was like, sure. Well, I know people is out moving around, so if people out trying to get their money, I'm gonna give them opportunity to get their money. I'm gonna order some.
And I'm sure you tip well.
I sure did.
You take care of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You got it. You just already know that's gonna have to be a thing when you
ask
someone to go get you some fast food or whatever in the middle of a snow and ice situation. But it's snowing again just right now. So
is it really?
Yeah,
that is a lot for Nashville. I feel like we got a lot for us here, but for Nashville, that's the very first year I moved to Nashville was 2015, and we had that huge snowstorm, and that was my first experience of everything was shut down for over a week. It felt like.
Yeah. They're just never prepared. And it's even the more they step things up, clearly there's more than there used to be. But still, at the rate that Nashville has grown and the more people move here, like, they're not matching that growth level with the preparedness for things like this. Because we knew this was coming last week. Like, we all knew, you know, we're at school like, we're probably going to be out on Tuesday. We're definitely going to be on Tuesday. I got to Sunday, and I swear to you, I looked at the forecast for the week, and I was like, ain't no way. We're not going to school this week. There's no way with the way this is set up. There's no way that we're going back to school. And I was like, but also, they're not going to give us the whole week at once. Like, they're going to give us a couple days. We had the holiday on Monday. So I was like, okay, on Monday, they're going to tell us we got Tuesday and Wednesday. That's what happened.
And I was like, they won't just call it.
They're not going to call the whole week. You're going to have to get to Wednesday, and you're going to have to wait. And I was like, now, how long are they going to make us wait on Wednesday? Are they going to make us, wait until midday, or are we going to have to wait till evening?
Yeah.
So we got to midday, and then they called the rest of the week. And I was like, see, I told you now. And I was like, now, if they're smart, they will not have school on Monday. Because Monday will be the first day that, like, it'll be warm enough for things to really fully melt away and, like, run off without it refreezing.
Yep.
But I know they're going to be anxious to be back. So I don't know what they're going to do with it.
I get every parent is like, please send these kids back to school because they just had Christmas break.
Right.
And then, it's like, they're I'm sure it's like summer all over again, but you're not prepared for it.
Yeah. But I'm like, if the roads aren't, if it doesn't look good enough, I'm like, you're going to have a staff shortage because then people are going to call out. They're not going to come to work.
Yeah.
so you really got to play it right. Okay?
I'm not dying for these kids to have an education.
Because I'm sure not going to. I'm like, look, if it's not looking right, I'm going to have to call out today.
Yeah. Well, it has been snowy here. Not quite that bad. Like, I had a couple of things get canceled this week. But I will say, early in the week, I was feeling like cabin fever, seasonal depression. Like, I was just like, oh, it's all happening. Like, I hate this. Everything sucks. And like, obviously the sun is out today, which is really doing a lot for my mood.
It helps so much. It so really amazing
does. How drastic it is, because just last week, I was like, oh, this is awful. And then now the sun's out. It's still very, very cold, but like not being able to leave the house really just is it, where it's nice for like the first day. I'm like, comfy, cozy. But then I don't know. I feel like my my Gemini moon is very prevalent, I think, for me, and that like I'm just like, I need to do something. I need to get out. I need to be somewhere. I gotta talk to people. Like, I just start getting real stir crazy real fast. So.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I mean, I think it's also, it's like, if I was just here and I was just, I'm just home and I elected to be here and not leave, that was one thing. But the not being able to leave because I'm literally, like it would cause risk to my life.
Not having a choice really.
Right, like I'm truly stuck here, and that is a problem.
Yeah. Do we want to see what CoStar has to say about our snow weeks, our snow days?
Yeah, let's definitely see what CoStar has to say.
Okay. Oh, I forgot. I looked at this earlier today. I have a really good one today.
Oh, go for it.
Okay, so my CoStar today says, "You're the funniest person you know." Look at me laughing at my own as I say it. "You're the funniest person you know." I'm like, am I?
Yes.
Am I? Is it also just calling me a low-key narcissist? Like, of course you think you're the funniest person you know. Like,
I'm pretty funny. I'm pretty damn
funny. Thank you. Thank you so much. If you're listening to this podcast, apparently you think I'm funny too, or otherwise I don't think you'd be able to take it. Like,
You enjoy it. You love it.
Hopefully. Let's see. So my do's today include porch swings.
Oh.
Sounds lovely.
Yes.
Sunsets.
Oh.
Okay. Go watch the sunset later.
Mm-hmm.
And shower singing. I love
Oh,
to sing in
okay.
the shower.
What a combo. You said you don't sing in the shower?
No, I said I love to sing in the shower.
Yes.
It's a
yes.
vibe, you know?
We love a shower vibe.
Home alone, turn on the tunes, just kind of like dance
With
around
the
a little
acoustics,
bit.
you can really, get some belt some things out.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Hope my
that's a
neighbors
vibe.
enjoy my shower singing because it happens
Always.
on the regular.
Always. My don'ts today include victory laps. We're not doing any victory laps.
Okay.
I feel like I get that one a lot. Preening. Okay, so we're not sitting in front of the mirror looking cute, preening ourselves.
Okay.
And complacency.
All right.
No problem. I hate being complacent.
It's like, let's get on it. Okay.
Yeah. What about you? What's your co-star giving you today?
My co-star says, someone needs your praise.
Ooh.
Does someone need a praise from me? Do I not give praise enough? Oh my.
I'll always take a little praise. I'll take it wherever I can get it. I love it.
Yes. Like, okay, let me take that in. Okay. Do ticket stubs. Okay. There is a party I've been wanting to go to. I probably do need to buy a ticket before the price goes up because
yes, there you go.
I already don't want to pay the amount that they're charging. So
yeah, right.
Piano. Okay. Maybe
Okay.
turn some piano music.
Can you play the piano? Sorry.
No, not really. Do I like to play on pianos? Yes.
Yes.
Do I like to pretend like I can play? Absolutely.
Okay.
Have I tried to learn? Yes. It's just it's consistency. That's all.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And howl at the moon.
Ooh, I've gotten that one before too, and I'm always like, yes, I will howl at the moon.
I will.
Yes.
Don't insist.
Okay.
Okay, I won't be insisting on anything. It's all good. Whatever you want to do. Okay.
All right.
Invasive questions.
Okay.
And leftovers.
Okay.
Well, no problem there.
Looks like you're ordering DoorDash again today.
More DoorDash, yes.
Something
With someone
fresh.
else's life at risk. That's what it says. So,
Okay.
that's the co-star. That's what it's given.
All right. Well, that doesn't really tell me anything about what I should do with my snow day for real, but, that's okay.
Go sledding. I mean, do you have good snow still, or is there still
We still have some. It's like, it just hasn't been cold enough or hasn't been warm enough for anything to melt yet.
Yeah.
Really. Like, the roads are fine now. They've salted and everything, but, yeah, there's still, I passed by a big hill today, and I was like, what if I...
untouched?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there's
That's
one in our
impressive.
neighborhood. It's not huge or anything, but I'm really surprised because there's a ton of kids in our neighborhood, but nobody has claimed it yet. So
wow.
I'm like, okay, all right.
Well, it sounds like, for my family's updates, my nephew spent about 10 minutes outside and he was cool on it.
Such a Taurus. He's like,
Very
actually,
Taurus.
this is uncomfortable.
Okay, it's like,
I don't like
it's
it.
cold. I'm not a cold person. Like, I don't know. What is this?
I'll pass.
Where is the grass? Where is the driveway? I can't take my car out. What are we doing out here? Why are we out here? What is
Not
this
into
cold
it.
stuff?
Well.
Yeah.
Good for
Taurus
him.
things. I get
Setting
it.
boundaries.
It's like it looks nice in the window. That's why I'm like, yeah, it's cute.
Yeah.
I don't need to be in it.
Holiday moment or whatever.
Right.
Like a little, romanticize the snow.
Yeah, I thought about it earlier in the week. I was like, I should go out, put on something cute, my little hat, whatever. Trek out here to my little downtown little
Shoot some
visual.
content.
Yeah, and I was like, nah. Just rather stay warm. I'm cool.
Yep. I'm with that. Well, do we want to take a quick break and then, get warm, come back with some relatable content?
Yes, let's do it.
Hey, y'all. We are back. after some light confusion with remembering how to do all of these things.
Just do things in general.
Buttons.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
what's this over here? Oh, is this plugged in? Do I need to do this? Eject
You know
that.
what? It's not Mercury retrograde anymore, and we are just fine.
We're just fine. We're just a little high. You know, that's what happens. Light confusion. Neptune is involved. Maybe.
The Pisces weed combo. What do you expect?
What do you expect? We get there though. It just takes a little longer.
So, Christine and I both, before we pressed record, were like, oh, we don't really have a lot of relatable content this week, but we do have some, little like, what are you watching, kind of thoughts.
Yes.
So, Christine, tell me what you're watching right now, and tell me what you think I need in my life.
Well, one
I mean,
definitely,
TV
need in your life, maybe. The other, just one that I'm watching that, was notable just in, again, we're both in the mental health space and, trauma.
So much
trauma. We have that work in common. And so, I was watching, Paris in Love, earlier, or I am currently watching it. It's been, kind of floating on. I watch a lot of shows on Peacock, and so it's just been kind of on there. And I wasn't super thinking about watching it, but I think I've told you before that I watch, the Housewives franchise,
Yes.
and so I watch Beverly Hills, and, Paris Hilton's aunt is Kyle Richards, and she's on that show, and I've seen a lot of interesting interaction between Kyle and her sister Kathy, who is Paris's mom, and other sister Kim Richards, and like their family dynamic, and just kind of learning more. Like, clearly there's some trauma in their history, like just the way they engage with each other just always seemed really telling of something had happened in their childhoods.
Yes.
And they grew up, in Hollywood, and so it sounds like there was some abuse and things like that over the years that have come out. And so watching this show about Paris, in which you see a lot of her and her mom Kathy, the dynamic between them is challenging because it does.
That's probably a nice way to put it.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet, but I imagine it's not. I mean, just from what I've heard, it can't be good. And I think I said this to you earlier. It's like I feel like you don't get to be that successful and like live with that amount of wealth without having whoever got all that money stepped on several people along the way, and two, there's no way you have that and you don't have some kind of familial kind of fucked up like dynamic of some kind,
Yeah. There's just like a lot of traumatic history, and of course, in this first season of this show, which is what I'm watching currently, it's about Paris and her fiance, and they're planning their wedding. But one, she very clearly appears to be traumatized by viewing the show, just like the way she does things. Now, I also know that she has, talked about having ADD or ADHD as well, like having that diagnosis. So I think it's kind of like a combination of the two of those things happening.
Yeah.
But it's kind of seeing all of that, it's just like, oh yeah, like I can just see. But a lot of trauma response stuff like comes up, and she talks about the documentary that she did, I guess a little while ago now, about her experience in the boarding school that she was sent to as a teenager.
Very bad things about that.
Yeah. And I was telling you earlier, I'm like, I don't know if I really want to watch it. I want to watch it, but I'm like, I don't know.
You kind of already know it's going to be bad and triggering in some way.
Right.
Like, I don't know if I really want to subject myself to this fully. Like,
I
get that for
it sounds
sure.
like there's a lot of abuse, and it's like, it's fine. I definitely have heard all kinds of things already, and nothing. I will not be surprised by it, but also I will be horrified still. So it's just, like, I don't know, but I'll think about it. But there's just like a lot that plays out in that show, but there's a lot of her and her mom. And then of course there are times when her sister is kind of pulled in, and like you see this kind of triangulation that happens, and I'm like, see, I don't like the way she just, did that with the two of them, and now, But you see that dynamic happen with all of those members in that family across the shows that they're on. Like, you see that same kind of stuff.
Definitely seems like a learned behavior. Like, someone did this somewhere to someone along the way, and everyone just kind of picked up and followed along. And I don't know. I think that kind of stuff is so interesting. Obviously, it's what I went to school for. It's like, I'm intrigued by it, but also I totally get what you mean by, like, it's kind of draining to watch stuff like that and then also go to work and, like, see stuff like that happen, and, like, you're just kind of processing, like, other people's trauma all the time. It's like, it gets to be a little much, but I am really intrigued, and I think I said this earlier. One of the reasons that I found out about Paris in Love in the first place was because I was giving a trauma-informed care training, and someone came up to me and was like, the entire time you were talking, I was just thinking about Paris Hilton. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? And then she told me about the documentary or the show.
What?
And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm putting the pieces together. It makes sense. But yeah, clearly, like, there's a lot to do there with trauma and her experience. And I don't know, I'm curious about it. So I think I will watch that.
I definitely think it's worth a watch. Just, just understand, like, what you're, I mean, just for general public, I know you already know, but just kind of like what you're seeing. Like, I think sometimes people probably look at her and, like, she, kind of gives that kind of spaced out vibe. Yeah. And I think that is truly, like, she is either dissociating or, like, it just takes a little bit more time.
Yep.
Because everything else, And I'm like, I think if you don't know that's what you're seeing, you probably are like, she just kind of seems very, like, airhead or what. Yeah, she's like, oh, the child is traumatized.
Yeah.
Like,
and I think probably to some degree she's always kind of had that label. Because, she's been like very young, and she was like in the media really early. Like, you kind of have to learn to dissociate. Like, that was a mechanism that worked for her and probably still does work very well for her. Yeah. And, people like think she's stupid. She's not. She seems like pretty smart. Like, has several businesses.
She got her stuff together, yeah.
She's savvy. But she's deeply traumatized for sure. Yeah.
It's just, that part is just kind of difficult to watch, and, like, to see kind of that same family dynamic. And, like, her mom, I think in one episode, goes to therapy, and I'm like, I don't know if she continued that, but hopefully. But I don't know. They went to equine therapy, which was cool to, like, see on TV. Because I did, I guess slightly did some equine therapy some years ago with, like, some clients at former workplace. But yeah, it was cool to experience in that time, and it was cool to, it's always cool to see people trying these different kinds of therapies or like healing. Things like sound baths. So when I see it on TV, I'm like, oh, look at them. Oh, look at that,
But at the same time, part of me is kind of like, and maybe it's just because we're in, like, our real life jobs are very much in the mental health field. But when I see rich people on TV that aren't just, like, fully immersed in doing some kind of healing work, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, I feel like if I had unlimited money, I would be doing every single kind of therapy available to me because I could afford it. Like, these people who have all of this money and all of this stuff, but, like, don't even consider, like, investing in their mental health in that way. It's like, you just now started therapy? Why? Like,
but also a lot of those, like, those same kinds of families, I feel like, have that mentality of like, you know, we don't talk about these things, you know, that keeping everything hush hush, like, oh, we don't,
that's
you know, we don't talk about our business.
So successful in the first place. Yeah.
Like, we don't let outsiders in. Like, who was that? Who you talking to? Don't be telling people this stuff.
Right.
I think there's a lot of that same kind of stuff. Yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah. For sure. Okay, so that's your first recommendation.
That's my first rec. Yeah.
Okay. Darkness. What else do you have?
Also, you know, on a more fun tip, there's a show also on Peacock called The Traitors, and it is in season 2. The first season, I believe, I want to say it won an Emmy, but it either won the Emmy or it was nominated. Either way, Emmy worthy. So it did really well the first season. So it is a murder mystery competition reality show. And so when I was first telling Shelby about it, you know, I asked her, I'm like, have you ever played the game Mafia?
I feel like I associate Mafia with like theater kids. Like theater kids were playing Mafia, you know what I mean? Like we're in the drama club together playing Mafia. Because it's an acting game.
It's an acting game.
Yeah.
I remember my cousins got a hold of it at one point when we were like teenagers. And they come to like one of the Thanksgivings, and they really want to play Mafia, and I was like, okay, I kind of understand it, but I don't fully, and then, so they, you know, explained it again, because, you know, my cousins are more plentiful in number, and so we had a good group with all of us together, and so we start playing the game, and like I at that time especially was not, you know, I was a lot less confident in myself, and like didn't feel like secure in like acting in public. I hated like theater class, not because I hated the stuff we did, but I was just didn't want to be in, you know, like in the spotlight. And so
I think I was very much that way too. I can relate hard.
Like I enjoyed these games, they're fun, but also I don't want to do it in front of all these people. And so we're playing this game. I was terrible at it. I always got voted out. And I was never the person. I was never like the monster or whatever, the mafia. I was never the actual people, but like people just thought I was suspicious because I was terrible at, you know, acting.
Pretend.
Yeah, I was just like, I'm not.
Don't suspect
the mafia. No, they're like, oh, it's definitely you. You know,
why would you think that? Okay.
So you know, there's that game. And so if anyone, you know, ever played that, you know, there's an element of this show that is essentially that game. And so basically this season 2 is all celebrities, and which I told Shelby that season 1, it was interesting because there was a mix of celebrities and like regular people. Lay folks.
Yeah.
And
lay folks.
And it was interesting in that I think the game was a lot more emotional. I think that the way the game was played, people got their feelings hurt. Yes. Because you start, you know, developing relationships with people, you're spending time with them, you know, but the way the game works is that there is someone who is selected to be, you know, the traitors, and that they are killing off every evening or every show. They're killing off one of the people in what they call the faithful, or the town people, if you play the Mafia game, whatever. So obviously these people have to be lying and deceiving and doing all these things, and so, you know, they've developed these relationships in season 1, and I think some of the people who were not celebrities were a lot more hurt by the behavior of the people who...
What does that say about the celebrities? Are celebrities just, like, used to everyone lying and trying to game the system? And,
right.
like,
they're just, I mean,
jaded,
truthfully.
Perhaps.
Yeah, just, like, we're in this kind of industry, whether they're reality television celebrities or, like, actors or...
Right.
In some other part of the industry, like, they all have to kind of put on in some way.
Yeah, so they can see it as a job. It's
right,
a mask.
right.
Yeah.
Or then you have people that are, frequent to the competition shows. So there's people that are on like Survivor and Big Brother. And so those kind of shows where you have to strategize and you're already used to having to like put people out and kick people out. So that doesn't feel, terrible to you.
Yeah. This is, I mean, honestly, because really the only competition show that I've really gotten into was Survivor. And it reminds me that, like, they did a season with, where they brought in, like, Survivor fans, like, new people, and then also, like, Survivor veterans who had gotten voted off at some other point in the show. And, like, it was almost unfair because clearly the people who've already been on Survivor have this huge advantage. They know exactly how the game is played. Like, it's like they only did a couple of seasons of that because I think it became obvious really quickly, like, this isn't fair. So I wonder if they'll do it again where they mix them together.
Yeah.
Like new or like celebrities and people who are used to this dynamic.
Yeah, I think it would be interesting to see again, especially after season 1 and people kind of having a better understanding. I think we had a conversation about like season 1 of shows. It's just like this kind of raw, like experiments of a show.
Yeah.
And so
nobody knows what's going on.
Yeah, I think there's a space where you could probably do that again. Like after this season, like they have a like a stacked cast on season 2. You could go back to having a mixed cast. Beyond that, once people can kind of see like, okay, this is how this works. Like, you do have to kind of, somebody's going to be lying to you. That's the thing. Yeah. Like, someone is going to be lying to you. So you're trying to figure out who that person is before you get to the end of the show, because I guess I could explain the rest of the concept of the show. So the group that shows up, they compete each week. They have a competition, or not a competition, but like a group challenge that adds more money to their pot. And at the end of the season, they have a chance to have up to $250,000 to win. With whoever gets to the end.
With whoever's there, yeah.
Now, if there are any traitors in the mix still, when they get to the end of the show, the traitors win everything. And the other people get nothing. So
what if there's if there's only one traitor, does that traitor get everything?
They win everything.
Wow. Okay, yeah, I don't know. It adds a really I don't know. I feel like so many competition and reality shows are like really played out, like kind of how things happen, what the goal is, all of that. But I feel like this is a really interesting twist. It's very twisty.
I think it's really fun. It's like a murder mystery, and they're staying in this castle, and like, is it Scotland or Ireland? Like one of the two. Like the host, Alan, is amazing. He has fabulous wardrobe. Like it's all like fun. I think it's just a good time. People are being kind of treacherous, and he does a lot of acting. It's just for Alan alone. Honestly, it's worth the watch. Because he gives so much to the show. He gives so much. And then just, as people get more into like, being kind of devious and kind of cutthroat, like, it's interesting to see what people will do, or like, will you stab your friend in the back, or what will you do?
What will you do? Yeah, I'm really intrigued by this. I don't have Peacock, but I think Sam does, so I'll go over and watch his. Yeah, and be like, hey, look, we're watching the show. I need to see this. Yes. I have to do research for the pod.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so it reminded me when you said that. Speaking of castles.
Yes.
So I am, much like many people on the internet, obsessed with Saltburn right now, and Christine has not seen it yet.
I have not.
So, if you don't know, Saltburn is a movie. It's got Jacob Elordi in it. He plays Nate Jacobs on Euphoria. That's where most people know him from, I think. He also was in the recent Priscilla movie, I think, playing Elvis. Okay.
Uh-huh. I could see that.
Yeah, right. You can see it. He's very tall. He's so handsome. Yeah, he's like a little white girl dreamboat right now. Like, people are very much fawning over him on the internet. Like, oh, and I'm like, he's just tall, and he's just got one of those faces that looks like he's, like, deep in thought all the time. Yeah. But, like, he's hot, I get it.
He's a good-looking guy.
Yeah, so I was trying to describe it to Christine earlier, and I didn't want to give too much away. Because I kind of went into it blind. I didn't really know what it was about at all, but I just kept seeing people on TikTok talk about how freaky it was. And then I'll just tell you that I watched it, and I was like, oh, this isn't that bad. This isn't as bad as people made it out to be.
Okay.
But I'm also fucking weird. So there's some shit in there that I feel like you'll see, and I'm very curious if you'll be like, ew, or you'll be like,
Oh, okay. Now, when we're talking freaky, are we talking like weird, or are we talking like sexy freaky?
Both.
Or both? Okay.
Both.
Okay. Weird and sexy both. Freaky. Okay.
It's weird, but it's, yeah, I don't know. The whole movie is just it's like very sexually charged, but it's also like kind of a party movie, but also there's mystery to it. I would like you to watch it just because it's beautifully shot.
Okay.
And there's so much, like, a lot of it takes place in this beautiful, like, English countryside manor kind of thing.
Okay.
And so, like, a lot of the aesthetics are just so, like, pretty. It's this dark, academic, like, gothic sort of energy, and just, there's a lot of very pretty sets, a lot of very pretty shots. So I think if nothing else, you might appreciate it for that.
I love some aesthetic.
Yeah, exactly. Just the aesthetic alone is cool, but also, like, it's just a wild ass movie. The first time I watched it, I was like, I had some feelings about it. I was like, that was fucking weird. But then the second time I watched it, I just, like, appreciated it even more. I was also on a little bit of mushrooms the second time I watched it. So I was like, oh, okay, yeah, this, it's really fitting in. Nice. But it is dark. It's funny at parts, and I want Christine to watch it and then report back. And also, if we have any listeners who either have seen it, please give me your thoughts, or maybe watch it. Maybe we'll have some, like, convos about it next episode.
Okay. Let me try to get it on. You know what really what just came to me, and I don't know why, the energy that I was getting about it was like Cruel Intentions. And I don't know anything about this movie, or like, it just, like, something about the energy and the way you were describing it, I was like, it's giving like Cruel Intentions, like, just that kind of dark, like,
yeah. I have not actually really watched Cruel Intentions, but like, I'm just looking at the I was like, I've heard of this movie, I've seen the cover a million times.
Just the way the kids were going crazy back in the day over Cruel Intentions, and just the way, the energy, and like the kind of dark but kind of witty but kind of, freaky,
even just
but
looking
weird.
At the aesthetics of, like, the poster and everything, I'm like, yeah, it's like the 90s version of that.
Yes.
Although the movie, it's modern, but it takes place in 2006, I think.
Okay, interesting.
Which is an interesting time period for it to take place in, because I feel like people that are younger than us are, like, romanticizing 2006, which I was just like, I was just, like, a weird freshman in high school then. Like, that's, like...
2006?
Yeah, that's not a time that I really can romanticize, because I was there, like...
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, I'm really curious. I would really love for you to watch it and tell me what you think.
Yes.
So that's my recommendation. I haven't really been watching a ton lately, other than I just finally, so late, finished the first season of The Bear.
Yes.
Which I know everybody loves, and has, I think, won a bunch of Emmys for the second season, just, like, very recently, so. Okay,
I don't think I've seen the second season. I have to go and look and see. I think I've only seen the first season. But yeah, the first season was great, and I was, we talked about just very stressed. My blood pressure was up, but it was good.
Yeah, great show, great acting. Good dialogue, like, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, just absolutely batshit crazy as far as, like, stress levels through the roof, without a doubt. I was like, I've never felt like that watching a show, but it was really good. Yeah. Like, why did I want to keep watching it? Right. Normally I don't like that kind of TV. Like, it's too stressful for me. I'm not always, like, big into action movies, because I'm like, there's too much, like...
Too much going on. I'm like, okay, is this blowing up? That's going over there. You running over here? All right.
Oh, I do have on that note that reminded me of something. I do have another like really quick tangent. Have you ever seen John Wick?
No. Okay, no, I haven't. I
I hadn't either.
I know.
No.
Okay.
It's okay.
There's no shade here.
Okay. No, there's not. I just watched it because it is not the kind of movie that like I think that I would like, but I'm dating this guy. I love him. He's great.
Everyone loves John Wick. You know,
I think John Wick is pretty universal.
Man. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
is it
but
Keanu?
It's Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, we love Keanu. Yeah.
Sam had me watch it with him, and I was like, "This is ridiculous." And he was just like, I was like, we had a conversation about it, and he basically said that like every straight man has a revenge fantasy. Because it's like the whole plot of the movie is like, they killed my wife, they killed my dog, I'm gonna pew 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 pew.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
that's the entire movie.
It's Taken. It's the same. It's the same thing.
Yes.
It's every girl's father.
Yes.
And Taken.
And
you know, like
we watched something else. I can't remember what else we watched, but it's always just this like maverick guy who's like buff and like badass, and it's just like, I can't feel my feelings, I'm too busy killing people. Pew, pew, pew. And it just like, we had this whole conversation. He was just like, yeah, this is every man has this revenge fantasy. We were laughing because he was like, oh, we're about to take a trip together, and he was like, I gotta be sure while we're there, I gotta get my dead wife video. It's like, because you know they always do the flashbacks. It's like the wife, and it's like a POV, like he's watching it over and over again, just like forlorn. He's like, yeah, I gotta get my dead wife video, so like, you know, just we'll do that.
I cannot.
Anyway, I just was thinking about that because we were talking about action movies and how I don't have the patience for them because it's all just like, okay, I get it. My God, this fight scene has lasted for
just
way too long. But yeah, I think I really discovered something new about straight men. Apparently, they all fucking have this weird revenge fantasy, and yeah, I don't know how to feel about that, but it's a thing. And all that to say, I had a really good time watching John Wick because it's so fucking ridiculous. Like,
you know, I think I would probably enjoy watching it. It just, you know, it's one of those things. It's like my family sometimes laughs at me about my lack of knowing what's going on in the sports world, you know, because I haven't been dating a man in a while, or anyone who's, you know, required me to really watch those things. Not that I don't enjoy football. I just, if I'm not invested. So I'm like, if I got other stuff I'd rather watch, I'm gonna watch that. Like,
right.
And then, you know, there's no one around to make me, not make me, but you know what I mean, influence.
You don't have the exposure. It's like, yeah, I think I realized the other day, I think we had this conversation about how one of my friends was telling me, she's like, the podcast is a lot more straight than it used to be. And I was like, oh no. And I had a lot of self-reflection about that. And I will say, now I do feel like, you know, I'm watching John Wick, so clearly like the straight influences are like, you know, they're coming over, right? They're here. But at the same time, I still refuse to know what the fuck is going on in the sports world, unless it's about a gay sport like roller derby or maybe the WNBA.
Right.
There's some things that I'm just like, no, I'm too old, and I'm not gonna invest myself. Like you do you over there. That's great. I'm still gonna be over here on this end.
I mean, just completely tuned out. I will, to the point where, you know, I'll be at home on a Sunday afternoon, and I tend to want to leave the house around 4:00 for whatever reason, and I just get caught in traffic from people coming from a Titans game. I'm like, what's going on? Why is it so many? And I get so irritated about it. It's like, Christine, it's Sunday. It's the same time. You continue to leave the house at this time. And you continue to run into traffic.
Coming from.
Yep.
Yeah.
It just drives me insane. I'm like, But, you know, again, because I'm so tuned out, I'm like, why are there people out at this time? Like, why are there so many people coming from downtown?
Yep. I love it. I love it.
It's like in my
well,
own
you know
bubble.
what? I'm here for that. It doesn't matter if you're dating a straight man, if you are straight. Just know you too can still tune yourself out to whatever is going on in straight male culture. It's fine. You don't have to pay attention to that. It doesn't actually affect you. It doesn't
Some
matter.
of the stuff that they are tuned into is, I found some things, earlier this year and last year or not earlier this year, but earlier last year, that I'm like, oh, is this what y'all are? Oh, no. Is this what you're listening to?
Were you on TikTok around the time where everybody was talking about the Roman Empire?
No.
Somebody posited this theory that, like, just fucking straight men. Ugh, hate that we're wasting so much time talking about them, but, I guess we're informing the rest
right,
of them.
Yeah. We're not romanticizing
we do the work
them.
so you don't have to. Yeah, no, they're still stinky and, very boyish. Anyway, all that being said, there was someone posited this theory that, like, every straight man essentially, like, spends a significant amount of time thinking about the Roman Empire. And so it was this, like, game that you would, like, text your, whatever straight man is in your life, your boyfriend, your brother, your husband, whatever, and you'd be like, hey, when was the last time you thought about the Roman Empire? And, like, every response was immediate and was like, oh, yesterday I was thinking about this, and this.
What?
And, like, how they, like, because the Roman Empire really did influence so many things.
True.
I asked Sam that question, and he was like, oh, yeah, I can't remember how we got here, but he was like, yeah, did you know that, train tracks are, like, a certain width wide, and that is how far apart, like, Roman chariots were.
Oh, wow.
Like, that's why train tracks are spaced out the way that they are, and because they're spaced out that way, like, there was this piece of the rocket ship that went to the moon that had to be carried on a train to get to where it was assembled. And they couldn't do it because the train tracks weren't wide enough for the piece of equipment. So, like, the moon landing would have been different, like, but it was influenced by the Roman Empire. Like, so many things in our day-to-day society are just affected by the Roman Empire. And I was like, I literally never even crossed my mind. Like,
I
not
could see
something
that.
I would think about.
I could definitely see that. And I think, also, I think just from a religious perspective, there's so much that comes from the Roman Empire as well, like biblical, like, I mean, several religions kind of, that is part of their story or part, history.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot, I'm sure. Yeah, like when we're talking about, I'm like, yeah, I guess so. I guess so.
I don't know. It was just weird. Apparently that was a big,
very
big
influential.
thing on the internet. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Huh.
Anyway, that's my fun fact for the day.
Look, now I gotta test the theory. I'm like, I gotta text some people. Like, when was the last time you thought about Rome? Like,
yeah, I'm curious. Let me know what you come up with.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Okay. Let's see. Do we have any other relatable content for today other than our Rex?
We're gonna do a poll, but I have a Q&A for us. So this would be for everyone to engage with. So I want you to tell me that we're talking about dreams today.
Yes.
I want you to tell me your weirdest dream in 5 words.
Ooh, 5 words.
5 words.
Like that.
Weirdest dream. So you gotta come up with whatever the words are gonna be to describe this dream that was significant or weird or whatever. 5 words. So I'm gonna throw that up on Spotify. I'll put it on Instagram this week. Let us know. We want to hear about your dreams.
I almost forgot that that's what we were talking about today. I'm so excited. I have so many thoughts.
I know, we've been talking about so much other stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, we're talking about dreams.
Yes. Okay, well, should we take a quick break and then we'll come back and talk about our dreams?
Yes.
Tell each other our dreams and secrets?
Oh, yes.
Okay. All right. BRB.
BRB. All right, welcome back. We are ready for the meats.
The meats.
So, today we are talking about dreams.
Yes, back in that astrology adjacent bag, but also there's some things here astrologically to talk about as well.
So listen, there are so many things, and this was I put this little disclaimer in when I was working on this episode because I'm like, there are so many directions I wanted to go with this episode topic.
Yeah.
But there are too many directions, and there's not enough time to go in all of those directions. Yes. So...
This might require a part 2 at some point.
It might, yeah, because there are lots of things to get into when you talk about dreams, and so we'll see where we can get. I don't know, our outline, isn't long, but the discussion, who knows? I don't know where the discussion will go.
We'll see where it takes us.
Yeah, so I'm going to talk about some astrology related things with dreams, but know that there are so many other directions that I would love to go with this episode topic, but it's just so vast. So
we'll see where we get today.
Yeah, let's see. So basically, the language of dreaming is all about symbolism, right? And so this is where we connect astrology with the dream life. So we're going to take tangible objects and events to represent the intangible experiences, such as emotions and intuitions. So that's, us making these connections. So one of the things I did when I was, researching this is just kind of go to our little friendly site, Ask the Public, and just see, what are people asking about dreams? Like, what do people want to know?
Yeah.
So these are just a few of the top questions. Are dreams real, or are they signs?
Okay.
So a lot of people trying to figure out those dreams, symbolism.
Interpretations, yeah.
Yeah. Are they hallucinations?
Well, when you put it that way, it's like, it does.
Are we all just hallucinating? I don't know. Like, we could be.
Maybe.
Don't know.
Is all of this, it was all a dream?
It was all a dream? Okay.
That's the episode title.
That's definitely the episode title. Can dreams kill or traumatize you?
Ooh. Huh.
So this, this one really is interesting for me because have you ever had those sleep paralysis dreams, where you couldn't move, but, you're half
few
asleep,
and far
halfway...
between.
Yeah.
I don't get it regularly, but there's been a couple of times. And I think there was, some other factors going on. I think I was, one time I was, on a weird medication or something.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, so that definitely played a factor. But that's such a scary feeling.
Very scary. So, okay, I want to ask you about that because, when I used to have those, and again, they weren't a lot because they scared the shit out of me. It was on some... my shit was it was some spiritual shit. It was some... Were there energies or spirits or whatever connected with that? Or what was that like for you?
So the only time it's happened to me, I think now I might interpret it as in a different energy.
Mm-hmm.
But at the time it happened when I was in high school.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm I was just I had a very different idea of spirituality and things like that, and I think at the time I was just that was fucked up, and I just kind of put that over there and didn't deal with it.
Uh-huh.
But now just thinking back on it, it felt like a very dark, very heavy energy.
Uh-huh.
It felt like a bad omen almost.
Yes.
That's kind of how I would interpret that now. Of ooh, that's something's not right, and I don't know if it was because of where my mind was at that I had that dream. Obviously, like I said, I think there were some other things affecting it. But yeah, it all felt very heavy.
Yeah, it was definitely a dark experience, and I remember talking to my mom about it. I think the first time I had it maybe was in college, and she told me about this phenomenon called the witch riding you, in a dream. I'm trying to find it as I'm talking about it. Okay, so I just Googled this really quick.
Mm-hmm.
It says several studies show that African Americans may be predisposed to isolated sleep paralysis, known in folklore as the witch riding your back, or the witch is riding your back, or the witch is riding you, or the haint is riding you. Other studies show that African Americans who experience frequent episodes of isolated sleep paralysis reporting, hold on, it cut off. Okay, reporting having one or more sleep paralysis episodes per month, coined as sleep paralysis disorder, were predisposed to panic attacks. This finding has been replicated by other independent research. Okay. I was just trying to see if like there was a reference to that if I looked it up real quick, and it was that's the first thing it pulled like in the little Google window was about that. Okay. So that's what that was this whole thing. So again, at that point in time, I was definitely a Christian in my religious faith. And so in those dreams, I had to like visualize a cross and like call on Jesus to like release this energy that was on me. Cause like, it was like, I would describe maybe as a demon. Dark energy, dark spirit, like was on me, and it's like I could not wake up. I knew I was asleep, but I also was awake, and like it was like I couldn't get it off of me, and like I was like, this thing is gonna kill me. Like this is what's happening in this dream or whatever, and that was the only thing that would like release that energy for me.
Huh. That's and so interesting to me.
Yeah. It was like, I mean, the scariest shit that to this day, I'm like, if I had one of those, I would, I'm in a different spiritual space, but like, it would still freak me out, but I would know where to go with it as well. It's an interesting experience. So yeah, that's also interesting that it's like known in Black folklore. So I'm like, I'm definitely gonna do a little more research on that.
Yeah, that's fascinating. I've never heard that, and that's again, I didn't have like a very religious upbringing, but at the time even, and I think I just remember it feeling like just very powerless and like less like something was like not like pressured or something was holding me back, but just like just the stiffness and the like, I'm just out of control in this situation, and that we'll talk about that later if we start getting into dream interpretation. But like all of my worst dreams have been like I don't have any control in this situation. Like someone else is running the show. Like I don't have any choices here. Like I'm unprepared. So I don't know. Yeah, if there's patterns or what, but I don't know. That's very interesting. I'd like to learn more about that.
It is. It's interesting. So yeah, I was, that whole can they kill or traumatize you part just really kind of resonated with those experiences. Like I think some kind of dream experiences probably could traumatize you. I don't know if they can kill you, but that's a different kind of question in a later discussion.
Okay.
But
I'm curious too, is it a chicken or the egg? Like, is the dream actively traumatizing you? Are you already experiencing things and that's why you're having these kinds of dreams? Like, what's on your spirit that you're having these dreams, or it's being manifested in your subconscious like this?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Dream again, so interesting. So some other questions. Can dreams predict the future? There's a lot of people that have prophetic dreams, right?
I have thoughts about that. We can get into it later, but
yeah, so a big question. How dreams work? How are they formed? Like, the construction of dreams. How do dreams affect mental health? Could imagine, what do dreams mean? Is there any meaning to them, or are they just things that are movies playing out in our head? I don't know.
Right, is it just random? Is it all just random?
Yeah. Why are they important? And the last is, what are dreams versus visions? What could be considered a dream versus a vision? How do you know the difference?
When someone says vision, I can't help myself. Like, even though I think that is like absolutely a real thing, I immediately picture the That's So Raven, like, yeah. It's a vision.
Child of the 90s right there. That's So Raven.
Sorry. Like, that's the first thing that comes to mind.
That's the reference point. I love it. Yes.
Sorry.
It's great, because that's exactly where you go. You're like, zoop. That's Raven.
The association is crazy.
I love it. But yeah, that's, a big one. A very interesting question to ask. Like, how do you know when your dreams have more meaning than just being, kind of random?
Just a random dream.
Right. Yeah. Like, how do you know when it means something?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I've been having some dreams lately that I would love to mean something.
Okay, I don't know what that means.
They might be fantasies, I'm not sure.
Yes. And again, a valid question. What's the difference between a dream and
Is
fantasy?
it prophetic? I don't know. Is this a prophecy?
I have some other, you know what? I'll save it. I'll save it. Let me not tangent right
now. Okay, so I have a question.
Okay, for me?
Yeah. For you, for us. Have you ever had a memory that you couldn't place? Like, something that didn't, maybe belong in your current life. Like, it just doesn't seem to fit. I have a lot of, I'm gonna say this, and I feel like it's gonna be one of those Piscean moments that's not a fully formed thought. So bear with me. It's okay.
When I was a kid, especially, I had so many like weird images that would come to mind in my brain that I didn't think, I was like, that's not something that really, like, I think I knew that it wasn't something that happened to me. But I also was like, I don't, like, reflecting on it, when I was a kid, I wasn't really thinking about thinking the way that I am now.
Yeah.
But, like, reflecting back on it, I'm like, where did that come from? Like, why was that just a thing that just, like, popped into my head? Was it a memory? Was it just, like, was it influenced by something and I just didn't have the wherewithal to connect those pieces? So it kind of, yes, the answer is yes. It happened to me a lot when I was a child. And I remember feeling weird about it then. But also, I had a lot of, like, I had some, like, early stuff that, like, it could be trauma related, it could be environmental. There could be a lot of things there. So I don't know, but yes, the answer is yes.
Okay. So, very similar. I will say, I have, like, one memory in particular that has kind of stuck in my head since I was a child, but nothing, like, it didn't fit, like, it didn't happen. It didn't happen to Christine.
Okay.
But, like, I remember, like, it literally, like, I can see it. And it's so weird. Like, it's one of those things I always think about in connection with dreams. I think about these, like, memories that you have from, like, are they from another life? Like, some people believe that, like, that you just, especially, like, in early childhood, I think, you're just still, like, more connected.
There's so much more open.
And
to whatever,
So you think about things, and, like, the way that even, like, your imagination works is very different. Like, I think about the ideas that I used to have, like, as a kid, and it just would, like, so almost seeming, like, so far-fetched, but also, like, but for real, now think about it. Like, think about that again. Like, like that. Gotta listen to kids sometimes. Like, that'd be, they're just closer to, like, the different, like, spaces spiritually. They're just,
they're making connections that, like,
the veil
as
is,
adults.
Like, you're just a little more closed off in those ways, and, like, kids are just, like, open. They really are. And so, of course, that's why, people, tell you that, like, kids can communicate with spirits and things like that, because they're just like, oh yeah, there's a man over there.
a wide open brain. Their neural pathways have not been, like, they don't have those those, oh, we only do this way, like, yeah.
So it's
so interesting.
It's just interesting. I don't know. I always think about that, but I definitely had a memory like that, and just I don't know where it doesn't belong to Christine, and that's all I know. But it is something that literally has been in my brain like since I was a child.
That's fascinating. Yeah, and I don't know. Again, is this a Piscean thing? Is this a early childhood trauma thing? Is this just a prophetic? Yeah, I don't know.
I'm telling
very,
you.
very interesting. Good question though, because it's like very similar to a dream. Like, where did this come from? Who knows? Who knows?
Okay, so another question. So now, have you ever connected with others in a dream, like other living people, or or non-living people, or like have you ever experienced like calling to someone in a dream?
Yes. Yes. 1000%. Like,
okay.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
There's like a person in my life that like has been in my life for a long time. And there's been periods where we didn't talk at all, and then periods where we like have randomly reconnected, and periods of time where we've been very close, whatever. And it was like one of those things where we were like good friends for a long time, off and on. But he has told me several times that like I would reach out just to be like, oh, hey, I heard this thing and it reminded me of you, or whatever, or here's this song I think you would like, whatever, just like totally random. And he said every time that happened, he had a dream about me the night before.
Interesting.
And he was straight up like, are you a witch? Like, for real? And I was like, maybe. So, and then, and the opposite has happened where, that person has popped up in my dreams. It doesn't happen a lot. And then, there's other times where like, sometimes I can make a very clear delineation of like, why did I have a dream about this person? Like, I'll be like scrolling through and I'll just randomly see like something on Instagram, and then like the next night I'll have a dream about them. It's like, okay, well, right. I know where
them.
This came from. This is just a dream, whatever. It's not, but like there has been a couple of instances where it's been very specific. Like I had the dream and then, or like vice versa. Like he had the dream and then I reached out. Like it was like the energy was there for sure. Something was happening.
Now, can I ask you is this your current man? Because I know y'all had because I remember y'all had a dream connection, because that's where I was like, is this okay?
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say it, but like
sorry.
No, we're good. We've known each other for a really long time.
Yes,
we were like friends for a long time, but like didn't really stay in touch. But like every once in a while it would just be like, oh, here's this thing, like.
Yes.
I don't know. It's weird. And even when we most recently connected, it was like I had not talked to him in years. Like it had been a really long time since we had been in touch, and like he literally said, he was like, I don't know what it was. Like I just knew that you were about to reach out to me because I had this dream about you, and then like a couple days later,
that's
I was
wild.
Like, popping in the DMs like, hey, what are you doing?
But also, Sam has some Pisces in his chart. Is that right? Where is his Pisces placement?
He's a Pisces ascendant.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Which is not a placement I see very often. Which I think is interesting. Yeah. He's a Pisces ascendant. He's a Taurus sun and a Libra moon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. I just think, those Pisces placements, like, part of that is that psychic energy, and so you all calling to each other in your dreams, and the next thing you know, you're talking to each other in real life. It's very interesting. Very interesting.
It's very strange, and I've never felt more, especially in recent years, like, especially, I know I've talked about this somewhat on the podcast, like, I got off birth control after being on it for years and years and years. And now I feel like I'm a little more in tune with my own body and like the frequencies that, you know, I'm working with personally. And like, yeah, just whatever's going on over here. But yeah, that's like kind of, now I can like appreciate things like that and like really, like, I've never felt more like, ooh, there is something to all of this. Like maybe there is, of course, again, you know, I'm a Pisces, I'm very gullible. I'm here. I'm with the, you know, all of that. But at the same time, I'm like, there's definitely some energy there that I'm like, I'm not just going to take that for granted.
Yeah, I think, you know, just those connections, you know, I think that Piscean nature lends to like finding those connections. Like, you know, that I don't think that's just coincidence. Like,
right.
There's something there, and it's very Piscean, and y'all both have that energy, so
yeah.
I
love to romanticize something.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I'm just hitting it really quickly, and I should have said this in relatable content, but that thing that you posted the other day from Sanctuary, that was like, it's like a little graph, and it was Pisces in a relationship, and then whatever, and it like, it was just Pisces romanticizing their average partner, and I was like, no, don't say that.
In fact, said mediocre.
Mediocre. There you go.
To be
not
exact.
even average.
Yeah, no, mediocre.
Yeah, I was
which
like,
really,
don't tell me that.
cut to the core. Just, I was like, y'all have been coming for us. Just you and Sanctuary, Co-Star, everybody. I'm like, what's going on
Not very
with the
nice
Pisces reads? Because everybody, I scroll back over to other people. I'm like, that read wasn't that hard. Why is our read so hard?
Somebody hurt somebody over there at Sanctuary, clearly.
And at Co-Star. Because I'm like, y'all been coming for us.
So
been coming for us. Like, there was some other post I saw last night, and I was like, oh, you know, it's like when you're finding the different signs. I'm like, it's just both. Okay, Pisces
it's
for both. And then I read the Pisces, and I'm like, I'm reading the other ones, and why is it so hard on the Pisces? What's going on?
I don't like it. At least I have the capacity to, you know, I think it's good to romanticize things a little bit from time to time.
Somebody got to bolster the man up.
I mean, come on. It keeps it alive. I've also, I'm sorry, this will be my last tangent for this section, I promise. Also, something I probably should have said in relatable content, I just didn't think of it, but I've been reading, do you know Esther Perel?
Uh-huh.
I'm reading her book right now. I'm reading Mating in Captivity. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, part of me is like, oh, maybe I should have read this before I got divorced. Like this. Let me get the self-help relationship book after. Anyway, I read several.
It's never too late.
It's, you know, it's good information for the future, I think. But anyway, I'm thinking a lot about, like, it really sounds like part of a successful relationship. Don't quote me on this. I feel like she's probably gonna, like, if she were to ever hear this, she'd be like, that's not what I meant. But I'm like, you know, I think part of being in a successful relationship is just being a little delusional about how great the other person is. Like, everybody just having, like, mutual delusions about each other. Like, they're so wonderful, they're so great, nobody can tell me otherwise, they think I'm great
for me.
Like,
you know?
Just keep stroking each other's egos and it's working. Like, I don't know. That's...
What are we supposed to do? Like, my partner really is trash. Like, you know, like,
yeah, like,
what am I supposed to think?
Obviously, you have to draw lines, because if it's really bad and you're really not having a good time, get out of there.
True. Yes.
But at the same time, I'm just like, yeah, my relationship advice is be a little delusional. The best Piscean relationship advice I could possibly give is, like, be a little delusional about how great your partner is.
Be in love. Be in
love.
I
love love.
Love. You know me. I'm waiting for it. Like, hello, are you here?
hello.
Astrology's giving me false hope over here. I'm like, hello, Venus in the North Node. Hello. Where are they at? Which one? Who is it? Just point them out. You know.
Point them out. Anyway, that's my tangent. So we can get back to the dream. So I just had to throw that in there real quick.
I'm having dreams about them. So okay. So, do you do any intentional dreaming practices? So I connected all of these things together because they feel connected to me.
Okay.
So like intentional dreaming, yoga nidra, which is a type of meditation, but also kind of like puts you in that very subconscious space. Visualization practices, past life regressions, we've talked about those before on the show. All of that's kind of like dream work in my mind.
Yeah, I would
kind of that same space.
Yeah. So, I haven't really, I'm going to be honest, I just like have not been in a space to be able to like do the intentional dreaming more recently. But I have done some yoga nidra and like some like kind of deeper sorts of meditations. I know we've talked a lot about past life regressions. I'm really interested, but I just like, my brain has not been in a space for that lately.
You gotta be, you definitely got it. I haven't either, so I understand. Yeah. You have to be in that space.
But I'm interested in the idea, and I like the idea of like, this is part of why I've like thought about like, I'm very torn because part of me like really wants to spend some time like living alone, because I think that I would be able to get in this headspace of like, you know, setting up the space and the place for the meditations to get the solitude to do it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't know, I had this conversation with my therapist the other day where she was like, you know, you can set yourself up to put like, to live alone, to be in that space, to whatever, to do all those things and still not do it. So be careful. And I was just like, you know, she didn't say be careful, but essentially that's the message I got, was like, yeah, okay, you're right. I could probably, if I was really committed to it, do it in the space that I'm in now.
Yes.
It just requires a little bit more intentionality, and I just haven't been there. I haven't been there to do it. So
very understandable. I can relate. Like, I've been on myself internally about, like, again, I feel like I'm always on myself about getting back to the practices, like on a regular it's the regular consistent basis that's always you know, the thing. Like I, you know, move so much and just like according to my moods and my energy. And so really some of those things just have to be kind of more ritualized. But you definitely have to be in the space that you can receive what you're supposed to be receiving there. Right. And sometimes we're just not, like, we have so much other stuff going on, and you really do have to be in a space that you can kind of get to yourself. Like, this isn't one of those, like, oh, you can do a walking meditation instead of, like, being silent. Like, this is really, like, you gotta get still, being quiet, and being, you know, ready to kind of receive through whatever pathway, because there's several that you can, you know, take, but it does require that, and I can relate. I have not been in that space myself.
I'm just glad I'm not the only one.
You are not. There's just I need to be in that space with everything that's been going on in my life, but
that's when it's the hardest to get into the space. I'm with you, like,
Okay, so I want to talk about one of my favorite movies, and maybe I'm understanding, maybe it's because I'm a Pisces, sun and moon, you know, Inception.
Yes. Oh, it's been so long since I've seen Inception. I remember seeing it in the theaters, like,
Inception left, like, an impression, an impact, I don't know, just literally, it just, like, took me somewhere when I saw that shit. I was like, no, wait a minute. You know, this before I even started smoking weed. Like, you know, I was like, okay.
Oh, that's so interesting, because this is, like, what, 2007, 8, 9?
Look, now I gotta look it up.
Because I saw it in high school, like, with a group of people, and I had just started smoking weed.
See, like, I didn't start smoking weed until I was, like, 25.
Your brain is better for it. I'm sure that I've incurred some brain damage because
it came out in 2010.
Oh, okay. I guess I was a senior then. I was older than I thought.
Like, how old am I? Okay, like, that was 14. That was right around. So, I wasn't smoking at the time. I remember when I was first seeing that movie. But it just, I don't know, it really did something to me, that whole dream thing. And so then, you know, we talked about, can a dream kill you, or can you die in a dream? And that was something that came up in Inception, they had to set up the dreams when they would go into the dreams in such a way that like they stayed alive before like the dream attacked. The whole concept of that movie just really did it for me.
That's so interesting. First of all, hilarious considering the kind of person you are, the ideologies and stuff that you kind of have now. That, like, I'm just imagining Inception as the jump off point for all of that. That's so funny to me. Like,
because I'm like, well, what if you can enter a dream, and what if? Wait a minute, now, because it connected me to the kind of thoughts that I would have as a child.
Oh,
like that was the kind of thinking, and I was like, I mean, that's kind of wild, but like, I mean, it kind of like you could make that make sense. Like you could kind of connect this, and then I see this movie, and I'm like, see,
they did it. They made it
like,
make sense.
This is the kind of stuff I'm talking about.
They made it make sense.
It's like like The Matrix, Inception, like these different kind of movies. I'm like, yeah,
I get it.
I'm with this.
Speaking of, this is the second time we're bringing up Keanu Reeves this week, but like The Matrix, just all-time great movie. Like,
yes,
yeah.
Just tap into the different reality, different realms. Like, what is this really? And of course, The Matrix is so popular that we all kind of refer that we are living in the Matrix, and we just
that was going to be my next question. I was like, what are your thoughts on everything is a simulation? Like, are you if I think about it too hard, I start to be like, ooh, I don't know.
It kind of freaks you out. Like you just can't handle that, and it's probably the emotion of it that's like then that kicks in, and you're like, I can't handle the thought. Yeah. I can't emotionally handle the thought of like this being like no. But it's also like, I mean, I could see it. I'm definitely a person that's like, I could see it.
Yeah.
I could definitely see it.
I don't know, just there's even the discussions about like the quantum things that go along with it that make it feel like maybe maybe this does kind of it's all kind of giving video game if I think about it too hard. But again, it's like, you know what, I'm also like, I'm here, I'm a real person, I like have a real person job. I'm like, okay, let me just like live my life and not
sure we are
but I don't know. There's a lot there.
We are definitely, we have manifested in the physical. But it's also like we think about this whole concept of us being, spirits and, physical vessels, which are our bodies, and like, in many, even across religions and the, belief systems, thoughts are that, in some way that this spirits continues in some form or fashion, whether whatever realm, hell, heaven, whatever dimensions and we think happens after this earth, like something is happening. Like we feel like our spirits are not going to necessarily be extinguished. But we don't know how they're going to express in the next form. Like I don't know. But it's, all this kind of different, so I'm like, I mean, sure, could it just be like this simulation or this, maybe it's very high tech, but maybe it's also kind of just like a spiritual simulation. I don't know. I don't know how that works. I don't know. My brain can't conceive it fully.
Yes, that is the other part of this is like, sometimes I have thoughts like this, and I have, these thoughts about what is and what isn't in the world. And then I just think like, my brain actually, I can like feel myself running up against the edges of like what I am able to conceptualize. Like, my human brain is not made to conceptualize concepts this large. Like, it's kind of whether wild. That's by design or, I don't know.
Some would say so. We don't know. We don't know. I will say on this note, like, of these kind of films or things that kind of took me into a different place, it made me think of The Truman Show. That was another one that just kind of like, simulation? What are we doing? They set this whole thing up. This whole man's experience, his whole life experience was a TV show It was filmed. He didn't know it. Like, your whole life is a set. Like, in
absolutely insane.
That shit, it was like mind blowing to me, and like that again, just very impactful. I was like, huh.
Yeah. Yeah. Look at us being young, having these deep ass thoughts.
Just like there is something going on with these. That's different.
Yeah.
So
I feel like this is very quickly devolving into like an Age of Aquarius type episode.
It does feel
just,
very
like,
Age of Aquarius. I was like, my Aquarius midheaven is really jumping
heavy
out.
Thoughts. I mean, again, I'm here with the Aquarius, Venus, and Mars. There's many Aquarius placements, just ready to talk about the theoretical and the meta and the whatever.
I mean, it's like we're talking about dreams, so it's we're already in like Neptunian land, and then it's easy to cross over into some Uranus in there. Like we're just all in that weird, undefined, unconventional space.
Some Capricorn or some Virgo has turned this off like 20 minutes ago, and it's like, I don't know what the fuck these bitches are talking about. I cannot get into this. If that's you and you're still here,
it's okay.
Thank you.
Just know that like we appreciate you hanging in there with these, heavy concepts, these very abstract.
I don't know if I'm even making sense
things,
at this point, but hey, we're on the same. You and I are on the same.
That's what a Pisces is good for, honey. Okay,
Man.
Like we are going to just bring confusion.
Here we are.
Do you want to talk about something undefined? We got it.
We got it. We'll continue to try to define it and not ever get there.
Yes. So, okay, the last thing on this part, let's talk a little bit about lucid dreaming. Have you ever had a lucid dream? Do you engage in the practice of lucid dreaming?
Yeah, so again, I think this is one of those spaces that you have to be really intentional about, and I just have not been in the space for in a long time. But I also think that I have had dreams where I felt very clear about like, okay, yes, now I know that I am here. I'm going to do this. Like it felt like a very intentional choice. Most of the time when I have the realization and I'm like, okay, here's how I want to act next. That's like right when I start. That's always when I wake up. It's like the second I get to it and I'm just like, I think I have to be in a better space or like a more relaxed space and a headspace to be able to kind of carry on and continue with that. Maybe it's like being in a deeper sleep, something like that. But yeah, there's been several times where I've been like, okay, I'm in a dream. I know what's happening. Here's what I want to do. This is so funny because this hasn't happened in a while. But I feel like every time I have a conscious thought in a dream, I'm like, okay, I'm dreaming. I can do whatever I want. What do I want to do? I want to have sex. It's always related to sex. It's always like, yes, I'm having a dream. I realize I'm in a dream. What do I want to do? Whatever I want sexually. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with me? Like, why is that always the subconscious go-to? You could do anything, and that's what you're choosing? Like, is that... Maybe that's the Aquarius Mars or something. I don't know.
It sounds like the Aries Mercury to me. Like, your mind is like, sex. I can do whatever I want. I want to fuck. Like, that's what I want to do. In a weird way. Bring the Mars in Aquarius in a weird way. Like,
even in times where, and I'm sorry, I'll stop tangenting after this because I know we have a lot of other stuff to get through. But like, even when I have had long dry spells in my life, that's when I have like the most dreams about sex. It's like, your subconscious is like, hey, you're missing something,
Hello?
But yeah, we just talked about that.
It's me.
Yeah, but definitely that's really my only experience with lucid dreaming. Like, I never make it very far. I have never made it very far. I did for a long time try to keep a notebook by the bed and try to like write things down and like try to be better about it, but I haven't been into a regular practice of doing that in a long time.
Yeah, like, excuse me. So I will say I haven't done a lot of lucid dreaming. I feel like I've wanted to do more of it. I've definitely done a lot of like, or not a lot of, but more kind of intentional practice. But like actually getting to the point where I can kind of make the decisions or like, start to be more active has been more challenging. But it is something I've been interested in. But yeah, I haven't done dream work in some time. So I would love to get back to it. I just don't, I'm like right now, I don't know if now is just not the time or I'm not in the space, but like, it's just, there's a lot more to it. And I'm like, I'm not there right now to take in all of that.
Definitely. I know how that goes for sure.
Yes. Okay. So here is what I'm thinking. What if we take a little break here and then we can come back and talk a little astrology?
Let's do it.
Okay. All right, so we are going to jump into the astrology now and talk about how astrology is related with dreams and how we can interpret dreams with astrology maybe. Just get into some things. What are the connections? So the first part is about the planetary influences on dreams. So we've got, our signs, and each sign has its own distinct characteristics and traits, right? And so those can manifest in our dreams. But then we have planetary aspects that can also play a role and influence dream symbolism. So like, if the planets are in conjunction or opposition to each other, specifically those two aspects, because they are the strongest aspects that you have in aspecting, I don't know, in like your transits, those are the strongest aspects, your conjunction and your opposition. So paying attention to like what the planets are doing at the time you're having certain dreams, you can maybe glean a little more information there.
Of course.
Or a dream that's featuring a prominent planet in your chart might reflect as like its archetypal energy and themes in your life. So just kind of watching for those things, like if you have a heavy Venus presence, like you might have a lot of very beautiful dreams or so. I wish like that was what the dreams were happening.
Right.
Just very beautiful.
Nice.
And just very loving harmony, and just you might have a lot of dreams about that, or at least getting to those things, like trying to get to those things.
If you have a strong Aries presence, you might have a lot of dreams about sex.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Or Aries in particular, like they have a lot more like action oriented dreams, like they're doing stuff, like they're definitely involved in some vigorous activity. I like to say with Aries, vigorous activity, whatever it is for them.
I love it.
So, and for another example, like a Taurus might have, dreams that center around more sensual experiences or like their material desires. Like, if they're not in a place where they want to be financially, that might be something that manifests in their dreams, and they're dreaming about like that financial stability and all of that. Also, you might have a dream with a strong Saturn influence, right? And that might revolve around themes of responsibility and discipline. Like if you're dreaming about having to get your shit together, it might be Saturn. Saturn might be involved. You might want to check out what's going on.
Okay.
Saturn
Noted.
might be involved. So another place where you can kind of think about how dreams can be affected is the moon phases. And so your dream cycles within those moon phases, which I think this is probably a lot easier to connect with for many people. Because we can see the moon, and we can physically see like what's happening, and then we can, of course we can always check and like, what's really going on? Is it wax and gibbous, or what's
Not
going
the wax and
right,
gibbous.
that wax and gibbous moon, you remember. So certain moon phases can definitely play a role in your dream cycles and what kind of dreams you're having. So during a full moon, You might have more vivid dreams. They might be a lot more emotionally charged, as we are generally, even in our waking life,
Right.
much more emotionally charged during that full moon. And then when you have a new moon, you might have a lot more introspective and symbolic dreams. So, in those phases in between may kind of vary those experiences.
Makes sense.
If the transiting moon is in your moon sign, so the moon conjunction there, or just, it being in the sign itself, your dreams may be more vivid during this time because your lunar connection is stronger.
Right.
So pay attention to that too. If you're having like some dreams like, is the moon in my sign right now? Could be.
That also kind of makes me think that, like, one time I had someone do a reading for me, like, just look at my birth chart and give me a reading, and they were just talking about how the moon is really significant because, I've got my Gemini moon, but I also have the Cancer rising, and Cancer is the moon, and so it just is kind of a big part of, and so it made me wonder if, like, people with very strong Cancer placements much more likely to, like, be connected to dreams through the moon cycle. So many different things to consider.
And we're gonna talk about that in just a moment too. About
I'm getting ahead of myself.
No, you're fine. But the water signs in particular, and Cancer, with it being ruled by the moon, definitely is going to be a placement that's going to have a lot more of that moon influence to those dreams and that connection with your dreams. Right. So yeah, you're right on it. So the next thing we're going to talk about is Venus and Neptune. So Venus, in some of the research I was seeing, which was interesting to me, Venus is known as the planet of dreams. So my interpretation of this was that Venus is probably more associated with, like, aspirational dreams. Okay. Or, like, dreams of, kind of like dreams of making things a better place. Or, Venus, also, I think of Libra and, like, that justice piece of, like, wanting things to be balanced and harmony and, like, that kind of thing. Like, I think about dreams in that way.
Fairness,
versus, fairness. And then you have, like, Neptune and, like, the dreams that kind of take place in the subconscious and the unconscious.
Which is, like, I feel like all the dreams I ever have.
Right.
Just, like, weird and, like, what is going on here?
Yeah. It's like, what are your dreams? World peace, fairy Venus, right? And it's like, what are your dreams? That's a Neptunian, like, well, this happened, and there was a shoe, and then, this, fell down, and, like, just like, what? Like, it's just the most random shit, and you're like, now make that make sense. You're like, well, I don't know. Like, I'm out here with my little dream book looking at the little symbols, and like, oh, okay, this means that, and okay,
Literally everything has meaning. Like, yes.
So that's kind of what I was taking from, like, Venus versus Neptune. They're both known for dreaming. But I feel like probably in very different ways.
That tracks.
So dreams are typically found in the 12th house of the zodiac wheel, which is, ruled by, our gals, Pisces. And so the 12th house is going to govern dreams and the subconscious and that spiritual world and realm. And so it's also going to govern, like, astral travel, all of those things. And so, of course, 12th house, Neptune, Pisces. So Neptune is going to govern those dreams and psychic powers. So all of those things are happening in 12th house. If you have you've got a stellium or a lot of energy going on over in that 12th house, you might be a person that, has dreams, or has a lot of dreams, or has
vivid dreams.
Very vivid dreams, or, kind of seemingly, spiritual dreams that just kind of take you to different places, maybe different dimensions. I don't know. You might be doing some astral travel.
Never know.
Totally. I can't call it, because I've had my own experiences, so I don't know what people are out here experiencing. I don't know. So let's talk a little bit about the signs. And so we're going to talk first about our water signs. And so the water signs are known in our zodiac as, our feelers and our intuitives and psychics and healers. So, we've got to be very connected, right? To those subtleties.
Yes.
So, and that's, really that's dreaming. Dreaming is kind of like that same connection to those subtleties. Like, what's, there's something else.
It'll pull something
here
out of the recesses of your brain that you're just like, that's, subtle details.
Yes. And so water sign connection with intuition has an important connection with dreams. So intuition is the ability to understand something instinctively without the need for conscious reasoning. So the water sign individuals can be connected to dreams and intuitions that are going to provide those insights and guidance about certain situations or decisions. So, like if you need a dream guide, find your little water sign. They might have a little intuition about things.
Checks for me.
Yeah. So also dreaming is connected to the imagination and sensitivity and intuitive traits of these signs. So again, like your Pisces, your Scorpios, your Cancers, all big dreaming signs, all probably very connected to understanding dreams in a different way. So here's an interesting thing I found also. The most likely sign to manifest their dreams, Capricorn.
Why does it not surprise me? Why does it not surprise me?
Come on, Capricorn. Yeah. Of course they're manifesting. They're going to make it happen, okay? Listen.
Saturn. Yeah.
Look, we're not just out here dreaming and conceptualizing. We're
really doing
the work. Yes.
Yes. Good for them.
Yes. And so water signs are going to have the most likely chance of having prophetic dreams. If that is something that you believe is a thing that happens. Fire signs should also pay attention to recurring dreams. That's something to note for our fire signs. And air signs may have the most difficult dreams to interpret.
Okay. That doesn't surprise me
Yeah,
either.
That makes sense. They're just like, it doesn't compute. So just a couple things about interpreting dreams through astrology again, because dream interpretation is kind of not vast, but there are several different ways and modalities and paths to like interpreting dreams. So just to stay with astrology, it usually involves considering several factors from your planetary influences, retrogrades play a role. We'll talk about that in a second. Other transits, and astrocartography.
So where you are in space.
Yes.
If you haven't listened to that episode, go back
and listen to astrocartography. There's a lot of interesting things that can come out of like the experiences you have in different places in the world. So that's always interesting. So we're gonna also want to pay attention to I skipped a note. It's always encouraged that you keep a dream journal. We've talked about that a little bit, so you can make these connections, because you got to keep up with this stuff, because dreams can be all over the place, and you're like, now, this other dream, and then once you start connecting them together, like, okay, wait a minute, I'm getting something here.
Yeah, makes sense.
It's very interesting. Okay, so a little bit about retrogrades. So we know that when planets go into retrograde motion, their energies are intensified during that time.
Yes.
So the dreams that are taking place during retrogrades can carry potent messages reflecting areas of your life that require reevaluation and introspection. So you're going to want to pay attention to retrograde planets, and they can unveil profound insights in your dreamscape. Yeah?
Okay.
So
do you know off the top of your head if there's any? I don't think there's any planets in retrograde right now, are there?
I think we are retrograde free. I want to say. I know we just came out of the most recent Mercury retrograde like a couple weeks ago. I think we're probably out of the shadow at this point. But yeah, I think before that, the other planets that were retrograde had all come back direct. Yeah, I think we might be free.
Okay,
this
look at
point.
us. We're in a good space.
So, dreams might be, a little more toned down.
Okay.
We'll take it.
Yeah, for right now, it's a good time to
we'll
talk about it. When one comes back up, you can be ready.
Yes. So another influence we have are the planetary transits. So we don't really talk a lot about the actual personal planets in these, in the dream interpretation. So all of these are going to be our, I'm trying to, my mind is blanking on the term we call Saturn and Jupiter, but they're kind of those middle planets, and then we have the outer planets, Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto. So we're just going to talk really briefly about how those planetary transits may affect your dreams.
Okay.
So Jupiter, known to be associated with expansion and growth, those transits might bring vivid and optimistic dreams, right? 'Cause we're all, we're very optimistic and we're expanding and we're abundance. It's great times.
Yes.
So dreams during a positive Jupiter transit, notes, positive. Most Jupiter transits are, even when they transit like Pluto.
Usually pretty positive. Right?
Yeah. But just note, like a more positive, like, if you're looking at a square, like a square, maybe in opposition, but watch out for those. But yeah, those can involve themes of abundance or learning or spiritual growth. If we're during a Saturn transit, knowing that Saturn is linked with discipline and challenges, those dreams are going to kind of reflect concerns about responsibility, structure, or personal development. They might highlight areas where the dreamer is needing to establish some boundaries.
Okay.
So that's your Saturn transits. If we're experiencing a Neptune transit, those are associated with the ethereal and the subconscious. All the things we've been talking about today. All of
very
that,
heady,
very Neptune. Like, what are they talking about? So, dreams during these transits can be exceptionally imaginative, symbolic, or even confusing. So we know that Neptune can bring the confusion. So this transit might enhance the dreamer's intuition and sensitivity as well. So watch out for those. During a Uranus transit, Uranus is known for sudden changes and innovation, right? So during these transits, you may experience unconventional and unexpected dream experiences.
Ooh,
This is where things get interesting and weird.
Super weird. Okay. Interesting.
So, during this transit, the dreams might involve unique or groundbreaking ideas.
Okay. Might get some of those Capricorn dreams like manifested.
Right.
What are your weird dreams, and are you going to manifest them in real life?
Capricorn will do it. And lastly, during a Pluto transit, Pluto's associated with transformation and deep psychological processes. I don't know if we always talk about the deep psychological processes that come with Pluto, but that is a
transformation.
But there's that piece of like the just very getting into the recesses of your mind and very Scorpio, So dreams during Pluto transits may delve into profound and sometimes intense themes related to personal growth, endings, or rebirth. So those Pluto dreams are probably going to be fairly heavy. Those are the dreams that you wake up from and you feel tired. You're like, why? I just slept all night.
Why am I still groggy?
I just feel real heavy after I woke up. Or you wake up sad. Like, who wants to wake up sad? That's that kind of energy, though. It's like, yeah, there's something, okay, I see there's growth or something and transformation coming, but this just
But
feels
is it worth
heavy.
it?
Right.
Doesn't feel right.
Doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
So that's just a little bit about the astrology of dreams, right? Of course, again, I really wanted to go so many places with the dreams conversation, but as you can see,
we still win a lot of places, I would say.
We win a lot of
Really
places,
like.
yes.
Yeah.
But there are more places to go with dreams.
Yeah.
But, well,
maybe a part 2.
Maybe
one
a
day.
part 2 one of these days. But yeah. How about we take a break here and come back?
Hey, y'all. We made it. We made it to the end of the episode.
We got here.
Yes. But before we get out of here, we have another little thing related to our dreams topic before we close out. Do you want to tell them about it, Christine?
Yeah, this is just a little quick. It's not really a horoscope. It's kind of, just a little list on our topic about dreams. So this is what the signs dream of in their sleeping and waking life.
Do you want to go, you read one and then I'll read one?
Yeah, let's do a little alternation. Okay. So let's start with Aries. Mm-hmm. In sleep, Aries dreams of violence, of being killed, of being forcefully put to an end.
Yikes.
Yes. In waking life, they dream of winning arguments, achieving great success at work, and of being known for what they do.
Wow. Aries. How about that?
I won that argument, okay? Listen.
Okay, good for you. Okay, so Taurus, in sleep, Taurus dreams of body parts, horror, and rebirth. Ooh, fascinating. In waking life, they dream ambitiously of raking in tons of money and living the good life, no matter how they make it happen.
Ooh, that sounds ruthless.
It does. I don't know them to be that ruthless, but
right.
Okay.
They're like, by any means necessary, I'm going to be living in comfort and style, okay?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Don't play with me. So Gemini, in sleep, Gemini dreams of body pain and excuses to stay put.
Okay.
They dream of the excuses to stay put. They don't stay put, but they dream of the excuses. I understand. In waking life, they dream of traveling and getting past the 1,001 things that keep them in one place.
Interesting. Okay. Cancer. So Cancer in sleep dreams of perfect love and heartbreak. That's so real.
Yes.
In real life, they dream of great gatherings and being the center of attention for the purpose of uplifting people.
Oh, yes. Okay, Leo, in sleep, Leo dreams of world domination and the spotlight.
Of course.
While in their real life, their dreams are more along the lines of acquiring as many toys as possible.
That seems right as well.
Yes, very, very real.
So Virgo dreams of being fired, of being cut off, and being dismissed. Oof, okay. In their waking life, they dream of travel, cruises on water, and anything that contributes, or rather continues on and on without the fear of ending. Interesting.
Interesting. Virgo just needs to, again, it just sounds like relaxation is needed. Just,
Very much so. A little uptight.
Fired and dismissed and cut off. They just want to be traveling on a cruise. I understand. Libra, in sleep, is a vivid dreamer of much horror, gore, and fantasy.
Okay.
In real life, Libra's dreams are as far less dramatic and more along the lines of seeing what's new on the shelves at the local Target.
Oh, okay. Well, dream bigger, Libra.
Just, everyday life. Just, I
see that there's more for you out there. Okay, Scorpio. So Scorpio in sleep dreams of being out of control, panic, and chaos. But in real life, they restore those nightmares with real-life situations of controlled mania. They dream of control around the clock. Ooh, okay. Control.
I see it. I understand.
Shout out to SZA, who is also a Scorpio.
See? You just can't make it up. Sagittarius. Sagittarius dreams of being imprisoned because they fear having their freedom taken away.
Oh.
All right. Listen, you knew that was going to be it. In real life, they dream of getting up the nerve to go to the store for juice.
Okay. Okay. Capricorn. At night, the Capricorn dream is about work the next day. Yikes. At work the next day, the dream is about work the day after that.
Ooh.
Basically, Capricorn dreams about work even during work, and that is why they're the most likely to manifest their dreams.
Right, because they at work. They're doing the work. Work is work is work. Work is life. Work is not life, Capricorn. Aquarius. In sleep, Aquarius dreams about sex. In their in their waking life, they dream about not having sex, mainly with their spouse, who they usually hate enough to give them dreams about having sex with someone else.
Oh my God, what a read. What the fuck?
A whole read on Aquarius, which I was like, that feels I see
somebody
it.
Was hurt here.
I'm not gonna lie, I see that in Aquarius behavior. Absolutely. Aquarius that dares to get married.
Oh boy.
It's another topic for another day.
Yeah. Okay, so Pisces, deep sleeping. Pisces is dreaming about family. When they're awake, the dream is all about how much better the other people's families are and what they can do to pursue that goal. Oh joy, screams the family of the Pisces as they know what they're in for. What?
I was like, not the Pisces dreaming about a better family. Like, but that
also
family
a
over
read.
there. Also a
like
read.
That.
Yeah, oh. I can't say that, well, I don't know that I've dreamt of a better family, but I've dreamt of some different dynamics in my own.
Sure. That's happened occasionally. I've had
Doesn't everyone?
Yeah. At some point or another.
Some point. So, here we are. We're at the end of the show. So this is where I will remind you, make sure you engage with the polls and the Q&As this week. Please. Tell us your, weirdest dreams in 5 words. And hit us up if you want to comment about the show, you have questions, you would like to request a reading.
Yes.
Let us know.
Please.
Our email for the show is suchapiscespod@gmail.com, and that is spelled suchapiscespod@gmail.com.
And as always, you can also find us at Such a Pisces Pod on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok, on Twitter, on Threads. Wherever there's social media, we are at Such a Pisces Pod. And if you haven't already, if you've made it this far into the show and you're not subscribed or you haven't left us a review, go ahead and do that. Maybe tell a friend about the pod.
Yes.
Word of mouth is a great way to spread it,
Yes.
Just let them know.
Tell people.
Did you have a weird dream about someone? Maybe send them this episode.
Send them this episode. If you got a friend that gets into really weird, heady spaces, send them this episode. We're there with them.
Yes. We love to see it.
Yes.
And other than that, I think we're done.
I think we're gonna head out. On out. So, I guess I should say, stay safe in these streets, especially out here on these icy streets. Okay.
Ooh, on the icy streets,
safe.
I totally busted my ass on a parking lot the other day.
We talked about that. Yeah.
Careful.
Be careful out here. Protect your energy and your physical body.
Yes. And while you're at it, if you have the energy to do so in the dead of winter, please seduce, and scheme safely.
Do it safely. Everything. Safety first, y'all.
Yes.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.